Good evening. And welcome to my Bible reading. Where each week we have been reading through Scripture, one chapter at a time. Last week, we concluded Deuteronomy chapter 28. So, of course, we will continue our readings with Deuteronomy chapter 29. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and grab our Bible for this week's reading. I am reading out of the New American Standard Bible. We began our journey with the King James Bible, but I personally find the New American Standard a little easier to understand, comprehend, and read. Prior to getting started with our readings, I'd like you to just take a deep breath in for me and let it out. I find it very helpful to just breathe. I know that sounds so simple, but just taking a breath in and out, consciously aware of my breathing, helps me to relax and purge everything else from my mind, since I'm solely focusing on my breathing. One more time for me. Inhale. So let's go ahead and get started. With Deuteronomy chapter 29. The covenant in Moab. These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the sons of Israel in the land of Moab, besides the covenant which he had made with them at Horeb. And Moses summoned all Israel and said to them, You have seen all that the Lord did before your eyes in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh and all his servants and to all his land, the great trials which your eyes have seen, those great signs and wonders. Yet to this day the Lord has not given you a heart to know, nor eyes to see, nor ears to hear. And I have led you in the wilderness for 40 years. Your clothes have not worn out on you, and your sandal has not worn out on your foot. You have not eaten bread, nor have you drunk wine or other strong drink, in order that you might know that I am the Lord your God. When you reached this place, Sihon, the king of Heshbon, and Og, the king of Bashan, came out to meet us for battle, but we defeated them. And we took their land and gave it as an inheritance to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of the Manassites. So you will keep the words of this covenant and do them, in order that you may be successful in everything that you do. You stand today, all of you, before the Lord your God, your heads, your tribes, your elders, and your officers, that is, all the men of Israel, your little ones, your wives, and the stranger who is within your camps, from the one who gathers your firewood to the one who draws your water, so that you may enter into the covenant with the Lord your God, and into his oath which the Lord your God is making with you today, in order that he may establish you today as his people, and that he may be your God, just as he spoke to you, and as he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, it is not with you alone that I am making this covenant and this oath, but both with those who stand here with us today in the presence of the Lord our God, and with those who are not with us here today. For you know how we lived in the land of Egypt, and how we passed through the midst of the nations through which you passed. Moreover, you have seen their abominations and their idols, made of wood and stone, silver and gold, which they had with them, so that there will not be among you a man or woman or family or tribe whose heart turns away today from the Lord our God to go to serve the gods of those nations, that there will not be among you a root bearing poisonous fruit and wormwood. And it shall be, when he hears the words of this curse, that he will consider himself fortunate in his heart, saying, I will do well, though I walk in the stubbornness of my heart, in order to destroy the watered land along with the dry. The Lord will not be willing to forgive him, but rather the anger of the Lord and his wrath will burn against that person, and every curse that is written in this book will lie upon him, and the Lord will wipe out his name from under heaven. Then the Lord will single him out for disaster from all the tribes of Israel, in accordance with all the curses of the covenant which is written in this book of the law. Now in future generations, your sons who rise up after you, and the foreigner who comes from a distant land, when they see the plagues of that land and the diseases with which the Lord has afflicted it, will say, all its land is brimstone and salt, burned debris, unsown and unproductive, and no grass grows on it, like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim, which the Lord overthrew in his anger and in his wrath. All the nations will say, why has the Lord done all this to this land? Why this great outburst of anger? Then the people will say, it is because they abandoned the covenant of the Lord, the God of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them out of the land of Egypt. And they went and served other gods, and worshipped them, gods that they have not known, and whom he had not assigned to them. Therefore the anger of the Lord burned against that land, to bring upon it every curse which is written in this book. And the Lord uprooted them from their land in anger, fury, and in great wrath, and hurled them into another land, as it is this day. The secret things belong to the Lord our God, but the things revealed belong to us and to our sons forever, so that we may follow all the words of this law. So that concludes Deuteronomy chapter 29. To assist you in your continual state of relaxation, I'd like to dim the lights and provide you with some light, earthly wooden tapping, just gentle tapping, to help you fall asleep, to help you let go of whatever you may be holding on to. Whatever thoughts are coming in your mind, just let it be natural. Let it be organic. Don't force it. Remember, there is no judgment here. If you are stressing, worrying, you have a family here who will pray for you and pray over you. You don't even have to be specific. You could just say, please pray for me.